Syracuse arrives 11-5 overall, 2-1 in conference off their first loss in the league Saturday at home to Georgia Tech. Hi everybody, Sean McDonough along with Jay Billis. Delighted to have you with us. Always excitement in this building. It seems like it's even up a notch from previous years because of the talent of these four freshmen, and they're combining to play a lot of outstanding defense.
Yeah, I think Mike Krzyzewski believes he has a special team, and they're special because of how they defend. This team leads the nation in shot blocking. They are second in the nation in steals, and it all starts with old school pressure on the ball. And it starts with a freshman defender, Trey Jones, who I think is the best defender in the country. He puts great pressure at the point of attack, pushes your offense further out on the floor outside of a normal operating area, and he does not get screened. Gets over screens, he'll keep the ball on the sideline, and inside hand change, he steps away and pokes it away, takes it the other end. Zion Williamson can finish in the half court, full court, anything you want. And then look at the pressure he puts on the ball. He makes you think more about him than starting your offense. He forces you further out, you can't get anything started, all of a sudden there's a turnover. This is old school Duke defense, out in passing lanes, forcing turnovers, scoring off your defense.
And they arrive off an exciting last-second win over Florida State on Saturday. Cam Reddish was the hero. We understand Allison Williams, he's unlikely to play tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Sean. I needed that, is what Cam Reddish told me about his 23 points and game winner against Florida State. And he was hopeful when I talked to him yesterday that he could carry some of that momentum and confidence into this game, but he will not get that opportunity as he is out with an illness. I spoke to him yesterday. He was fine. Today he was out there for shoot-around, but he is under the weather, so Jack White will get the start in his place.
Syracuse, Jay, struggling to score. 70 points per game, worst in the ACC, but they still play that excellent 2-3 zone defense.
Well, they're long, they're athletic, especially at the point of attack when you've got Tyus Battle and Frank Howard out front. They get a lot of steals, get a lot of deflections. The key is going to be Marek Dolezaj inside. There are two excellent playmakers in the middle of the zone for Duke, Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett. If they can get in the middle, force Dolezaj to play them, they can make some plays in the middle of that zone and be very difficult to guard.
There's Dolezaj, and we're ready to go. Mike Eads will throw the ball in the air. Jeffrey Anderson, Ron Groover, the other officials, and Zion Williamson controls the tip for Duke, clad in white.
Zion Williamson, number one, is going to try to get into the middle of that zone. When he catches the ball, he's going to look to be a playmaker in the middle.
And as Allison and Jay mentions, Jack White in for Cam Reddish. And it's a Duke turnover on the Blue Devils' first possession.
Duke in man-to-man. There's Tyus Jones, number 3, guarding Frank Howard out front. Look how Howard has to turn his back and how far out Syracuse has to start its offense. That's going to be a key to watch all game long. Can Syracuse get into an operating area on the offensive end?
See the Syracuse starters led by Tyus Battle. And it's a Syracuse turnover. And then a foul as Duke tried to counterattack. It's Frank Howard, their point guard, for Jim Boeheim in his 43rd season as head coach, 937 wins. That does not include the 101 vacated by the NCAA. Even with the loss of those 101 wins, he's second behind his good friend there in the background, Coach K. Mike Krzyzewski, number 1 all time.
Well, the way I put it, Sean, and this is NCAA compliant, Jim Boeheim has handed his opponents 1,048 losses in his career. They vacate wins, they don't vacate losses. You cannot argue with that one.
Well, as an alum, I should probably disqualify myself, but there's Zion Williamson with the first power dunk of the night, electrifying this crowd. As Allison reported on SportsCenter, Krzyzewskiville's been occupied since Saturday night, largely to come in here and see this man.
Well, Zion Williamson wound up getting that ball essentially off a deflection where R.J. Barrett and Javin DeLaurier couldn't come up with it. And he is so explosive. You can't even explain it to people. You have to see it. And when you see it, I think everybody acknowledges they have never seen anything quite like Zion Williamson on a basketball floor.
At 280 pounds, a 45-inch vertical leap. That is incredible. There's Elijah Hughes down the lane for Syracuse. He missed the layup, and the foul, by the way, on the Williamson dunk was on Howard. So he has 2, the Syracuse point guard.
Good job contesting at the rim by Javin DeLaurier. That's more of that shot blocking for Duke.
R.J. Barrett buries a 3. And a great start for Duke. Off to a 6-0 advantage less than 2 minutes in.
Boy, how good was R.J. Barrett on the road against Florida State? 32 points, and he was magnificent after Zion Williamson went out.
Coach K, when we spoke with him this morning, used the word spectacular to describe R.J. Barrett's play in that thrilling win in Tallahassee. Delorier fouled, and Duke having its way here in the first 2 minutes as the Duke co-captain will shoot a pair.
Just set up by the terrific penetration by Jack White. Caught it on a little ball reversal. Beautiful pocket pass when Marek Dolezaj had to step up. Anytime you help up, all of a sudden he had to leave Delorier, and Delorier had his hands ready. And against this 2-3 zone along the baseline, you are going to see guys at what they call it the read spot. So they'll be in the short corner on either side of the lane, trying to get that kind of penetration, drop-off look.
Dolezaj the foul. He goes to the bench with Howard, who has 2. So Pascal Chukwu comes in for Dolezaj, and Jalen Carey has entered the ball game for Howard.
Chukwu gives you defense at the rim and rebounding. What he does not give you is offense. Dolezaj, a fantastic passer, has the ability to score. They have to have him on the floor for his offense.
Carey lost the ball, and a lay-in by Trey Jones. A dominating start now for Duke, and Jim Boeheim, arms folded for a moment, now just waves his team up the floor.
The pressure is really getting to Syracuse. They can't get into anything. And you have to give the lion's share of the credit to Trey Jones because of the pressure he puts on the ball. I think he's the best defender in the country, Trey Jones.
And right on cue. Barrett the dunk. And how much longer will Jim Boeheim wait? No longer. Timeout. Syracuse blitzed by Duke out of the gate.
Trey Jones makes play after play. He is the straw that stirs a very potent drink.
.447th consecutive sellout here at Cameron. Dates back to 1990, and they are fully engaged early. Duke displaying that defense that Jay talked about at the top of the telecast, shutting out Syracuse now. Nearly 3 minutes into the game. 11-0 Duke. O'Shea Brissett passed up a 3 for a long 2, and that was not close.
Well, any one of 4 guys can get a rebound and take it the other way. They don't have to outlet it to Trey Jones. R.J. Barrett can grab it. You know, when Cam Reddish is playing, he can do it. Zion Williamson can do it. Obviously, Jones, when he grabs a defensive rebound, can take it and go. But that's awfully difficult to get back in transition when you could start the break so quickly with the player that grabs the defensive board.
Chukwu the foul, his first. Williamson tied for second in the ACC in scoring behind his teammate R.J. Barrett. He's tied with Kai Bowman of Boston College, and he'd be ahead of Bowman most certainly had he not sat out the entire second half in Tallahassee after getting poked in the eye late in the first half and experiencing double vision.
I mean, this guy's just ridiculous. The 3 ACC games he's played, 22 points, 9.5 rebounds, 2 steals, 73% from the floor, and he's gone 5 of 10 from three-point range. Ridiculous.
And with a very high likability factor, handles his celebrity gracefully, particularly for somebody his age. Brought his 2 million Instagram followers to Duke.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Sean. I know it's a social media age now, but I can't recall a college player in his freshman year being as big a phenomenon as this guy is. Now, maybe Lou Alcindor when he went to UCLA, but I don't think as many people knew who Lou Alcindor was back then because of the time period. Now, Zion Williamson is a phenomenon we just haven't seen in a long time, if ever.
Jack White with the first Duke foul, and Syracuse is on the board with the 2 free throws by Elijah Hughes. Jack White, he can make threes. That one off the mark. But White has made 22 already this season. Brissett Native Canadian from Mississauga, Ontario, just outside Toronto. Grew up very close to R.J. Barrett. As a matter of fact, they played the Canadian national anthem tonight before the game, in addition to the Star Spangled Banner. Ooh, another wild shot. This one from the outside.
O'Shea Brissett had a drive early on in that possession, and Trey Jones just totally took it away from him. I mean, the smaller player stayed in front, took away the baseline. This kid, I've been watching film on him all week long. It is ridiculous, the plays he makes on defense. Not just on the ball, but he makes really visionary plays off the ball. He plays the ball all the time and never seems to get tired. He's one of the truly extraordinary on-ball defenders that I've seen.
Of course, the brother of Tyus Jones, and right on cue, another steal on a bad pass. Chuku threw it right to him. Trey Jones will get an assist as well. R.J. Barrett scores. He has 7 already.
You see how Jones didn't go too fast when he was bringing the ball up the floor after that steal? I mean, he played it at exactly the right speed. Just has an extraordinary feel for the game. And I think it had to be a profound influence to have an older brother, Tyus, that played that position and played it at a high level when Trey was growing up.
Tyus now in the NBA with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's leading the NBA in assists per game, and Trey leads the ACC in assists per game.
And a 6-to-1 assist turnover ratio.
Which is second best in the country. Battle with a couple of buckets, one on a drive, one from outside. He has 5 quickies, and Syracuse trying to scratch back, now down 14-6.
I think Syracuse is going to have more success early in the clock against Duke than trying to grind it out. They got to get down court quickly and get something early.
Jones the miss, batted around it, wound up with O'Shea Brissett. Battle feeling it. That one around and out. Chuku, an offensive rebound, put it on the floor in traffic, and then Howard comes flying in. He hip checked Jones, who's injured, and grabbing at his right shoulder, and that's 3 fouls on Syracuse's starting point guard.
I hope that Trey Jones is okay. That was another fantastic defensive play he made. Chuku brought the ball down. He took it away. Well, that's unfortunate. Hope he's going to be okay. Well, look at those eyes. He goes after the ball, but just got hit on that right shoulder hard by Frank Howard. Both players just going after the ball.
It's one of the messages Jim Boeheim had for his team this afternoon at their meetings. Be more aggressive going for loose balls. Trey Jones stayed down on the court for quite a while and started toward the bench. The medical staff steered him toward the locker room instead. Clearly in pain as he departed. It looked like once he got to the tunnel, perhaps that was wiping away sweat, perhaps a tear or two as well. And this would be a huge loss for Duke. Jay, you pointed out his importance.
Well, he's vital for Duke on the floor over the course of any 40-minute game and during the course of the season. You certainly hope. You never like to see any player have to deal with injury, but right now the game has to go on. Jordan Goldwire into the ball game, backup point guard for Duke, and also backup point guard Jalen Carey into the ball game because of Howard's foul trouble.
And an offensive foul called against Duke.
Looked like they got Marquise Bolden just setting a screen. Little brush right in the middle of the lane, taking out the middle defender, Sidibe. Yeah, he just knocked him off and dislodged.
So Trey Jones, by the way, as he departed, 2 points, 2 assists, and he had 4 steals, Jay, in under 6 minutes.
The kid is the best defender in college basketball, and it is a huge loss, but Syracuse needs to take advantage of.
And if you're just joining us, Duke already without Cam Reddish, another freshman who averages 13 points per game. Not on the bench. He was not feeling well prior to the game, did not come out for their warm-up just prior to the tip, nor is he on the bench. And Syracuse, after a dreadful start, trying to get right back into it. Elijah Hughes
With Syracuse, when they are knocking shots out, they can make challenge shots, as shown by Elijah Hughes right there, who's the best three-point shooter on this Syracuse squad.
Not a lot to choose from. They have struggled from beyond the arc. Good passing in the finish by Marquise Bolden.
Anytime you can get penetration in the middle of a zone, that is very, very debilitating. And that's an interesting place to get the ball, that read spot down along the baseline.
Battle connected from the elbow. He thought he was fouled, as did Jim Boeheim. Alex O'Connell is in off the bench underneath Bolden. And it's taken away by Sidibe, who held his ground.
Right, Syracuse needs to attack. Without Trey Jones in there, they don't have a lot of pressure on the ball. They're not getting picked up right away. And Jordan Goldwire, who's a solid player, is not the same kind of defender. And Syracuse needs to continue to take advantage of that.
R.J. Barrett, the foul. And Syracuse, which looked like it was going to get blown out of the building, right out of the chute, has a chance to make it a two-point game if the free throw is made. Battle the free throw.
See, the left side is where Duke needs to attack. That's where Hughes and Carey are. They can get more things attacking from the left.
Williamson from underneath the free throw line. He has 6.
Not many guys that Syracuse plays can make that kind of play in the middle of the zone, because that forces Sidibe to come up and guard that, and that opens up some passes on the baseline or passes out to the perimeter. It really collapses the defense. You know, oftentimes when somebody catches the ball near the free throw line, they're not able to make that play. So Syracuse will scout, say, hey, stay back on this guy, let him shoot that. It's only a 2, and it's a tough 2, but not with Zion Williamson in there.
They're dominating in the paint. Jalen Carey, freshman from the Bronx, most highly touted Syracuse freshman. Guess they thought they were going to have Darius Baisley. Oh. Wow, with the shot clock running out. Battle knocks one home again. He has 12, and it's a one-point game.
We're talking about Syracuse not being able to make shots. They're making, not only making shots, they're making challenged, incredibly difficult shots. And right now, Jim Boeheim very upset with his defense for allowing the ball to go so easily in the middle and break that defense down.
First foul on Barama Sidibe, and 6 team fouls on Syracuse. So here's Williamson back at the free throw line. Freshman from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Now, this is one of the areas, Sean, where Duke needs to improve. This is not a very good free throw shooting team. Duke shoots 67% as a team from the free throw line. The last stats that came out, that was last in the ACC.
It still is. Hasn't hurt them yet. 14-1, the only loss in a scintillating championship game at the Maui Invitational to Gonzaga. They already have 4 wins over teams that were ranked in the top 15 at the time they met. That is more than any team in the country. So not only 14-1 and number 1, but against a difficult schedule. O'Connell, good outside shooter, better than 48% beyond the arc as a freshman last year. And again, Jim Boeheim upset this time with the officials. The ball went into Williamson easily again, and he'll be at the line when we come back. ESPN's. All right, Holly, we look forward to it. Our big Monday doubleheader. Great to be back with you, Jay, for another year of Big Monday. Allison.
It's great to be in conference play again. And that's where the biggest games seem to be played. And Big 12, where Holly Rowe is, that's the round robin. You'd love to see that in every league, but these leagues are too big now.
Zion Williamson has shot 7 free throws already. He's made 5. He has 9 points. The lead is 4 for Duke. If you joined us late, they led 12-0 to start and 14-2, playing without Cam Reddish from the start. And Trey Jones, who was a huge factor early on with 4 steals in less than 6 minutes, injured his shoulder, it appeared, in a collision and left the game. So an opportunity for Syracuse with Duke playing without 2 starters tonight. And a rebounding foul against Syracuse. They have a lot of foul difficulty early. Jim Boeheim didn't like that call on Barama Sidibe, so he has 3.
Unless Sidibe pushed off before he went up for the ball, that wasn't an over the back. That was just a good solid rebound. I didn't see the push off, but that's what one of the officials indicated. So take a look underneath the basket.
Oh,
that's just a good rebound. Yeah, he went straight up for that. And sometimes the officials, when they're on the baseline, they can't see that, there's a difference between being over the back or on the back. He went over the guy to get the rebound, but he wasn't on his back. That's not a foul.
And it's a big call. It sends Sidibe back to the bench.
Duke is switching just about every exchange and every ball screen. And I think Syracuse can get some matchups that it likes without Trey Jones being on the floor. That's a good use of a switch. And then Brissett was ready to shoot the ball when he caught it. You are never going to be more open than when you first catch the ball.
And Jim Boeheim told us before the game, we need Brissett to make some shots. He was 33% last year from 3. That's down to 26 this year.
He played so well in the preseason.
And now a Duke foul, their 5th team foul.
Got Delorier just dislodging underneath from that read spot, trying to step in and seal. But you get a little switch here. All of a sudden, R.J. Barrett inside. And there's a roll replace action, and Zion Williamson just late getting up to O'Shea Brissett. And Brissett, I'm telling you, that being ready to shoot is so important. And actually, Villanova's got a great way to put it. They say catch to shoot, catch to shoot. And that's a great mindset to have. And if the shot gets taken away from you, you got a pass or a drive.
Good rebound by Barrett. And a foul. Syracuse bench thought there was a travel.
He thought it was a carry. He brought the ball up over his shoulder. I mean, we're up top. It's hard to see from here whether it's over his shoulder, but Jim Boeheim sure thought it was. It was an awkward play. So the rip and go. Now watch with his right hand. Now that is a carry, but the referees are going to say, well, he lost control of it. But I tend to agree with Jim Boeheim there.
See Ron Groover, the officials, read his lips. What did he do? So apparently he was not looking at it.
Well, usually the officials will give you the bobble sign when they said he lost control of it. And that would be on tape, they'll probably say that. But I think they just missed that one. That should have been called.
Oh, at the other end, a dunk. Elijah Hughes, the transfer from East Carolina, has been very consistent. Double figures in 9 straight for the Orange.
That was just keeping the ball in the middle of the floor and take advantage of the overplay with Duke out in passing lanes, quick back door, and that was really well run by Syracuse.
Air ball out of the corner from Goldwire. He's now 0 for 11 for the year from 3, and battle the other way.
Boy, Duke's defense is a lot different without Trey Jones on the floor. And Syracuse, we said they have to take advantage of it, and they are. Totally different feel to this game without Trey Jones.
Long 3 off the mark from Barrett. Deflected out. Jalen Carey trying to force his way to the bucket. Battle couldn't corral it. Williamson with Dolajay back. And an offensive foul. And no argument from Zion. He just turned and walked to the other end.
Boy, Dolajay, he had some guts to take in, step in there and take that. And he went down hard and is still down. I think he went down on that hip when he hit the deck. That was a gutsy play by Marek Dolajay. You got this truck coming at you, and he was right there and got lifted.
Dolajay is 3 inches taller than Williamson and 100 pounds lighter.
You may be light on that 100 pounds. It might be 115.
Well, we asked this morning. They told us that Zion's down to 280 from the 285 they listed him at. And they list Marek Dolajay at 180.
Well, if Zion Williamson has lost weight, I found it for him.
So Syracuse down 12 and on the ropes early, a chance to tie or take the lead, and they throw it away. And just simple pass.
Simple pass, but I was just about to say, Sean, that Jalen Carey bringing the ball up, not having to turn his back. When Trey Jones was in there, Frank Howard, Carey had to turn their backs. And, being able to attack with vision was really difficult. Good pass.
Quick ball movement. Jack White out of the corner. No, out of bounds. Last touch by Marquise Bolden. The guard, Jalen Carey, at inside position.
With that kind of ball movement and getting it to the corner, all of a sudden Chukwu's got to get from under the basket all the way out to the corner. And then Jalen Carey's got to box out on the weak side. Good fake.
And Brissett blocked by Williamson. You see the difference in the Duke defense without Trey Jones on the floor, but it helps to have Zion Williamson.
Off balance, he left his feet, then makes the recovery to block it. This is usually where an announcer will say, well, you want to keep that ball in play. I say smack it as far out as you can. Let everybody know you're there.
Look out! Williamson lays it in and was fouled. Anytime he goes charging toward the bucket, you wonder what kind of dunk it might be. But he'll go for three the old-fashioned way, and Chukwu has his second foul.
Terrific steal by Jordan Goldwire, and had the presence of mind to throw it back to a sprinting Zion Williamson. Boy, when that guy makes a muscle, it's pretty big.
It's not 280 with a lot of baby fat, that is for sure. He has 12 already. Duke has already shot 13 free throws, causing a lot of foul trouble for Syracuse. Syracuse a little deeper than some years recently, and the bunny missed by Brissett. Syracuse has been going 9 deep for the most part this season. But Jay, you have to think for Jim Boeheim, who said to us before the game tonight, as they're probably in bubble land again this year, as it seems they are every year. They need a big win. They need a win that really looks great to the committee at the end of the year, because they've had some losses that don't look particularly good.
Right.
This would be a huge win.
Oh, especially to have a road win against the #1 team.
Well, good job by Chukwu. Held his ground against Williamson, even with the foul trouble. And then Brissett dribbled it off his leg. Turnovers coming at a rapid rate now for the Orange. That's 8. 7.5 to go till halftime. An entertaining Big Monday.
Back inside Cameron Indoor Stadium, where Duke has a 5-point lead. Just outside of here, though, the Tents are pitched in Krzyzewskiville. They went up on Saturday and will remain there until February 20th for the UNC game. Now, they had record numbers of applicants try to tent out this year. In fact, in the first 4 seconds of opening registration, 91 tents applied, ultimately 150 for just 70 of what they call black tents. That's the highest priority for seats for the UNC game. And keep in mind, each tent holds 12 people, 10 of whom have to be there at all times. So these people sleep, eat, study inside these tents from now until February 20th. And apparently, even though it was in the 30s last night, I'm told it wasn't that cold, because when you cram 10 people in there, it stays nice and warm. I guess it's just one of the reasons they call them crazy, guys.
That does sound a little crazy, Jay.
Certifiable. Right now, not a lot of movement in the Duke offense against this zone. They need to get a little more movement. Right now, they're standing out on the perimeter. If you pass, cut through, get some movement where this Syracuse zone has to mark an offensive player.
Goldwire getting more minutes. The absence of Trey Jones, and he has struggled to shoot all year long. There's Elijah Hughes. He has 10, and that was a 3. He's out of Beacon, New York.
Syracuse putting Duke into some ball screen situations, especially Marquise Bolden, getting him to switch off, then putting Duke into rotation.
With Battle had his eye on the rim just about after they crossed half court, and he attacked and got fouled. 2 fouls on Bolden.
Watch the pick and roll. That puts Bolden off. Then you got a help on the roll. Jack White comes off a corner shooter. And really, you can't come off a ball side corner shooter. He thought he was going to try to help take away a layup, but wound up giving up an open three. And that corner three, the easiest one to make at any level.
Well, it was 12-0. If I told you it'd be tied with 6:37 to go in the half, would you have thought there was a chance the way it was going?
No. I mean, it got off to a very ugly start for Syracuse, but give the Orange credit. I mean, obviously Duke lost Trey Jones, and you certainly hope he's okay and he'll be able to come back. But Syracuse has really fought in this game and clawed its way back.
Led by Battle with 16 points now. Syracuse has done a better job of surrounding Williamson when he gets the ball in the lane or close to it. First bucket for Alex O'Connell, and at the other end a foul. As Battle went strong to the bucket again. Let's get an update on Trey Jones, Allison.
Yeah, I just received word from the Duke Sports Information staff that it is in fact a right shoulder injury, which you can see he sustained there, and he is questionable to return to this game.
Well, we just showed that injury twice, and you can see he took a hard hit there from Frank Howard. Both players going after the ball. Man, that is a huge, I mean, you can see it. Just the difference in the Duke team and the Syracuse team when Trey Jones was on the floor, and then the difference when he went to the locker room. This has been a totally different game.
Particularly different for Battle, who's now had 18 points after he had a slow start out of the gate with the rest of his teammates. He averages 17 a game. Syracuse's leading scorer, so he's already bettered that. And now another Duke foul, and both teams are over the limit with a long way to go. 6 minutes till the half. Foul on Javin DeLaurier. He's the first Duke player with 3. Howard and Sidibe already with 3 for Syracuse. Chukwu and Dolajai have 2 for the Orange. So Marquise Bolden comes back in for DeLaurier, and this will be a 1-and-1 opportunity for Syracuse to take the lead.
You know, and your point about Tyus Battle, you know, he came into this game, his last 6 games was 4 of 21 from 3-point range. But he has been really efficient in this game. He's been attacking in transition, putting the ball on the deck, has really varied his game up.
Chukwu missed the front end of the 1-and-1.
Battle's one of those players, the more he plays off of 2 feet, the better he is. And the more under control he is. He's a really good talent.
You suggest he should not hop around the court on 1 foot? They're all playing with 2 feet, aren't they?
I said play off of 2 feet. Come to a 2-footed jump stop. That was a good, because I would have done that to you. So
yes, you would have. We've been a little slow, actually, for our first jabs of Big Monday for this year. Look forward to doing a lot of listening now on Monday nights through the middle of March. Dolajai with 3 fouls for Syracuse, so 3 Syracuse players already with 3. And Buddy Boeheim makes his first appearance, the freshman, son of the coach, freshman from Fayetteville, New York, just outside the Salt City.
Really big fan of his mother.
Thank God he got his looks from his mother, that's for sure.
This is the second Boeheim I've watched play this year. I was at a game earlier this year and saw Cornell play, and Jimmy Boeheim had a really good game in that one.
And Buddy's twin sister Jamie is a freshman on the basketball team at Rochester Division III school. That's had a very good program. Hughes has 12 in the half. Averages 15 a game. Alex O'Connell a deep 3. Boeheim the rebound. Good outlet to Battle. He goes right at White and got fouled. And we'll have a chance to give Syracuse the lead.
Good pass by Buddy Boeheim after the long jump shot by Alex O'Connell. That led to a long rebound and a quick run out. And that's another area, you know, without Trey Jones in there, usually he is alert to this and can pick that up. And that was a mistake by O'Connell to kind of sell out and go for that steal and take himself out of the play.
Syracuse now has the lead. Here's the split screen.
That's pretty good.
Buddy mimicking the pose of his dad. That's a picture that's appeared in a lot of media guides. Jim Boeheim arrived on the Syracuse campus in 1962. Of course, the backcourt made of the great Dave Bing. In the opinion of many, he's the best player ever to play at Syracuse.
I'm very glad Buddy Boeheim did not recreate the shorts that Jim was wearing. Public service.
Well, the shorter shorts are making a comeback. Williamson, tough to stop when he gets it in there. Tied at 35, under 5 to go in the half. In a half that's had some remarkable twists and turns. And Chuku is fouled. Transfer from Providence College.
Good little hesitation. And right now, Syracuse able to beat Duke off the dribble. But Zion Williamson, when he gets into that lane, you have to be alert to that and step up, because once he gets in front of you with 2 feet in the paint, forget it. It is going to be a score, foul, or both.
It's 2 fouls on Williamson. Double bonus for each team now. 11 team fouls for both the Orange and Blue Devils.
I think Syracuse has to continue to look to drive the ball, to penetrate, not only to get all the way to the rim, but to be able to kick it. And that's where they'll find some open shots.
R.J. Barrett, preseason first team all ACC, missed, but Marquise Bolden was there.
Elijah Hughes just not able to get a body on Marquise Bolden. He just sort of jumped in front of him. Just not alert enough to lay a body on him.
Buddy Boeheim banks one home. Came in and well known as a shooter. He has struggled with his shot as a freshman. Might be a little bit of pressure on him.
A little bit, but it looked like he had a big smile on his face. He's not worried about how that shot went in. Little exchange, you go underneath, and R.J. Barrett not connected to be able to really take that away, and he was smiling. Hey, however it goes in, it counts. They don't put anything on the box score about did you bank it, did you call it.
And sometimes it takes something like that to help you get over the hump. He did make 3 threes in their loss Saturday against Georgia Tech. Went 3 for 8. His dad left him in there. They were behind and needed their best 3-point shooters on the court. Yeah. Even though he struggled this year. I spoke with Matt Park, the great radio voice of the Orange, today. He goes to a lot of their practices. He said Buddy's one of those guys who makes everything in practice, and you wonder how he misses. It's an adjustment to playing at this level, and Coach Boeheim thinks it'll take him the whole year to really develop a comfort level. He's got plenty of help tonight. That's Elijah Hughes with 15 points.
Where the ball screen action has really been difficult for Duke to guard. Little handoff switch, then right into a ball screen, and a wide open shot.
Alex O'Connell responds. That's just the second 3 of the half for Duke. They're 2 for 12. While Syracuse has gone 6 for 8. Jim Boeheim said before the game, we can make shots, we just haven't. They came into tonight, Jay, 29.6 Syracuse from 3-point range for the year. Battle tried hard not to travel and did. That 3-point percentage for Syracuse worse than the conference coming into tonight. They've shot it well, and they're tied with Duke at 42.
Court. Why? Without Jones, he doesn't get those advanced passes in transition.
Sean Jay, we'll see you in a bit.
All right, Chris, thank you. Ticking down to 3 minutes to go in the half. Alex O'Connell another 3. Williamson took it off the floor, and he scores to put Duke back on top by 2. 18 in the half for Zion Williamson.
He is just so quick and quick laterally. His agility is really what stands out. The explosiveness, but at 285 to be able to move like he moves and to have the kind of feet he has, really remarkable.
Long shot by Battle didn't go. Plucked out of the air by R.J. Barrett. And the lob, good catch. And Bolden got hammered. Now, if that's on Chuka, it would be his 4th.
Bolden's done a really nice job in the last several games. He has good feet, not the same as Zion, but take a look at Zion in the middle of this zone. And if you don't put a body on him, he's just going to get right past you. And nobody even looked. I mean, you have to turn and go find him, because he is going to get around you or go over you if you give him a step. Even if you don't, it's going to be difficult. It's tough to lay a body on him, but you're done if you don't get any contact. You know, Jay Williams, Seth Greenberg making a good point about Trey Jones, but you know, I think for R.J. Barrett to get out in transition, it all starts with Duke's defense, and you take away Trey Jones putting that pressure on the ball. He can't get out in passing lanes. It totally has changed this game. I mean, it doesn't take a basketball genius to watch the first 5 minutes or so when Trey Jones was leading the way. The difference in Duke's defense and the difference in the offense that Syracuse is able to run. Now Syracuse is attacking. They have not turned their backs one time, and they're getting right into the middle of the lane. Good drive by O'Shea Brissett. And I think that has to do with Jones not being there.
And the last Syracuse foul was on Elijah Hughes, so it's not 4 on Juku, and he stays in the game, although he almost fouled Williamson on the catch. Zion powers in again. That's 20 in the half. He's had 20 points or more now in 9 of their 16 games this year.
And Hughes took a big swipe at that, and still Zion was able to finish that. Yeah, you'd love to hear from Jim Boeheim after this game. You know, who would he compare Zion Williamson to, how difficult he is to guard in the middle of that zone? Because there have been some good ones that have been in the middle of the, played the middle of that zone against Syracuse, but Zion's a unique challenge.
Good play by Bolden to keep that ball in bounds, and it starts a Duke break. Barrett went right around Buddy Boeheim.
Hughes hit his head when he went down. Elijah Hughes hit the deck after that shot went off the backboard, and you could see his head hit right near the D and Duke underneath the basket, and he is still down.
Jim Boeheim thought that should have been a foul.
And that was a hard hit of his head. I mean, he really had no way to brace himself as he went up.
And what a half it has been for Elijah Hughes. 15 points. Battle is 20. They're the only Syracuse players with more than 5. Brissett has 5.
Zion Williamson, see, in the middle of the zone. When he catches it in there, there aren't a lot of guys. Now, this is a little bit of a gamble by Chuku and took himself out of the play. But, when he catches it, he can square up. He can shoot it from that range and make it. And he can also put the ball on the deck if you converge. He's a very good passer. So if the defense collapses, he just causes a ton of problems in the middle of that zone. And frankly, there aren't a lot of players that do that to that level, that cause that many problems for his own defense.
Brissett down the lane. He got fouled as Justin Robinson has come in. The junior from San Antonio, the son of the NBA Hall of Famer, the Admiral David Robinson.
I think as soon as Jim Boeheim saw that matchup, he wanted to get the ball to Brissett at the elbow and just allow him to take Robinson one-on-one.
Justin doesn't play a lot. Has appeared in just 10 of their 15 games prior to tonight, and limited minutes in those games. And he'll quickly come out as Coach K is going to put Williamson back in with 1:05 to go in the half. One out of 2 for O'Shea Brissett. 6 points for the sophomore from Ontario, as we said, went to Findlay Prep in Nevada. Barrett had a relatively quiet half, way off, and 2 Duke players there. And they combined to knock it out of bounds. Williamson and O'Connell there for Duke.
Well, I thought he should have thrown the ball up there. Certainly not a bad shot, but could have thrown it up top either to Williamson or Bolden, who were behind the zone, and could have had a layup or dunk there.
I want to take back what I said about Barrett quite happy. He has 14 points.
Oh yeah. No, Barrett has been spectacular all season long. Boy, what a challenge by Marquise Bolden.
They can just about take it down to halftime. Coach K will use the timeout. 26.2 to go in the half and 23 on the shot clock. Well, Saturday it's a big SEC ACC doubleheader on ESPN. Starts at 4. Number 12 Kentucky, number 14 Auburn, and then Duke back here at Cameron to take on number 4 Virginia in a Sonic blockbuster. Both are also available, of course, on the ESPN app, so you can watch it anywhere.
I'll tell you, Sean, Virginia is legit. They have 2 guards that I believe are going to play in the NBA. I think Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome will both play in the NBA. DeAndre Hunter will be a first-round draft pick. And Braxton Key, who transferred in from Alabama, is really starting to play to his level of athleticism. Kihei Clark comes in, changes the game with his defense, and the fact he is so fast and so difficult to contain. Virginia plays defense much like they always have. You know, Jack Salt is a big body, but I think they're a little bit better offensively than they were last year, and they were good offensively last year. There's a team that won against ACC competition last year, won 20 games against only 1 loss, an overtime loss at home to Virginia Tech. Otherwise, they were perfect in ACC play.
No, because they haven't made a really deep run in the tournament during this great stretch under Tony Bennett. There's some who are going to wait to see it until they believe it. 5 seconds in the half. Shot clock expires.
Jack White needed to shoot that ball. And, you know, you mentioned that not a deep run. They did get to the Elite 8 that one year with Malcolm Brogdon, where they lost to Syracuse, had the game won, and Syracuse put on that amazing press, and Virginia kind of coughed it up in that one. But I thought that was Tony Bennett's best team. This may wind up being his best. It's awfully good.
And Jim Boeheim was raving about Virginia before the game. Time for a heave from Elijah Hughes, and it's good from the foul line extended at the other end. The crazy half ends with an unbelievable shot by Elijah Hughes.
Well, and you have to look at that one. Did he get it off in time? But you got to be kidding me. That was amazing. Mishandled the ball, and that is going to count. What a shot by Elijah Hughes. Deep range. He's got deep range.
Got to get up on him from about 75 feet, maybe even a little more than that.
That's better than anything Jay Will does at game day.
Yeah, that's about 80 feet.
What's that worth, State Farm?
Give him a scholarship. Wait a minute, he already has one. Duke 49-48 at the half. Let's go to Chris, Seth, and Jay. Of the year, Duke and Syracuse. Cam Reddish, the talented freshman, has not played. He came out to warm up about an hour before the game, but has not been on the bench. He's ill. Trey Jones was dominant defensively, 4 steals in the first 5.5 minutes, but after a collision, he left the game with a shoulder injury. Duke led 14-6 at the time. Syracuse really struggled to shoot while he was in there. They didn't struggle to shoot after. They made everything, including about a 75 to 80 footer from Elijah Hughes to bring it into an incredible first half. If every big Monday's going to be like this, we're going to have a lot of fun.
And obviously the game changed when Trey Jones went out. Duke got 5 steals with Jones in the ball game, only 1 since. Syracuse shot well over 50% once Jones was out of the game. They were 6 of 9 from 3 before Elijah Hughes hit that amazing long shot. But Duke has been dominating inside as we take a look at our Bosch Icon Cool Under Pressure, brought to you by Bosch Windshield Wipers. But Zion Williamson, 20 points in the first half, 28 points in the paint for the Duke Blue Devils. And Tyus Battle on the other end. Both he and Elijah Hughes had really big first halves. Tyus Battle with 20 points, went 6 of 11 from the field. But I'll tell you, O'Shea Brissett and Frank Howard have to have big second halves for Syracuse.
Let's quickly check in with Allison Williams courtside.
Sean, I am told that Duke's Trey Jones will not return to this ballgame. He remains out with a right shoulder injury. That has obviously had a huge impact for Duke on what they're able to do on both sides of the court. Associate head coach John Shire told me that it really took his team the entire half to adjust to not having Trey, and now it's time for guys to step up. He said we need more rebounds, getting after more loose balls. It's time to do the dirty work.
Elijah Hughes apparently can shoot better from 75 feet than he can for about 22. What a first half he had. Hughes at 18 and Tyus Battle at 20 for Syracuse. Zion Williamson 20 and R.J. Barrett 14 for Duke. And at the offensive end, Marquise Bolden called for his third foul by Mike Eads.
Yeah, Marquise Bolden just went right into Marek Dolezaj, and he's so much bigger and stronger. Just knocked Dolezaj out of position and dislodged him when all he really had to do was just seal him and sort of occupy the middle of that zone instead of picking up that offensive foul and turnover.
With plenty of room for Howard, he lobbed it up for Brissett, and Syracuse has the lead. Duke led right out of the gate 12-0 and 14-2. Syracuse battled all the way back. The largest lead for the Orange in the first half was 3 with under 4 minutes to go in the half. Zion Williamson spinning the bottom of the paint, and O'Shea Brissett called for his first foul. That's hard to believe he only has one, given how many everybody else seems to have.
Boy, how about that move by Williamson to just spin back around? Brissett felt like he had no other choice, but I really believe that for Syracuse to win this game, Frank Howard and O'Shea Brissett have to have really good second halves. Neither one of them played their best in the first. Howard with foul trouble, Brissett 2 of 8 from the field. But look at this move, a little fake, and then Brissett had to come in and foul. Otherwise, that would have been an easy 2 for Zion Williamson.
He's been a fixture at the free throw line. Didn't get the bounce on the second one, but the offensive rebound by Jack White. Williamson is now 9 out of 12 from the line with a long way to go. Bolden lays it in. Marquise Bolden, junior from DeSoto, Texas. He's had some good games lately. He had 11 points in their win 9 days ago against Clemson, a season high 12. Last Tuesday in the win at Wake Forest, and a Syracuse turnover as Howard lost it over the end line.
Frank Howard missed about 9 weeks with injury, and it is so hard to come back and play at a high level when you come off of that long of a break, especially in this type of environment.
O'Connell whipped it to R.J. Barrett, and a good start for Duke to begin the second half. R.J. Barrett, the leading scorer in the ACC, has 17, averaging 23.4 for the year. Battle, nicely done. Strong drive, softly off the glass.
Well, I think that's what Syracuse has to continue to do. Put the ball on the deck and keep attacking the paint. Frank Howard turned it over the last time he put it on the deck.
Williamson powers one in. He has 23.
How do you stop that?
You don't.
He is just so difficult to contain in the middle of that zone. He's a one-man wrecking crew.
Boy, Battle so confident. 24 for Tyus Battle. He's just 2 away from his season high, which he's managed twice against Cornell and Georgetown. Williamson for 3. And bad pass by Brissett. O'Connell stole it and then threw it away. Nobody in that corner. Perhaps he was trying to get it to Williamson underneath. At the crowd and the Duke bench, they appreciate the effort. And they still appreciate the effort from Alex O'Connell, sophomore from Roswell, Georgia.
All Frank Howard really needs to do is just post him up and get him on his hip. A full court pressure now for Duke, and now Howard telling everybody to get away so he can just bring the ball up one-on-one against O'Connell.
Marek Dolezaj now Battle. Trying to drive on Javin DeLaurier, lost the ball. It's O'Connell.
How many times has Syracuse turned the ball over just turning the corner?
R.J. Barrett way short with a deep 3. Run down by White.
Brissett got a piece of that. Good ball movement.
And O'Connell for 3. He's brought plenty of energy here at the start of the second half. He has 10, the lead 6. O'Connell had not made a three in any of the previous 4 games. Brissett trying to quiet the crowd for 3 in front of the Syracuse bench.
Well, that was the first time that Frank Howard really attacked pressure at the point it was applied. He just blew right by Alex O'Connell. You had to help off, and that left O'Shea Brissett wide open for that shot.
Jack White for 3, a little bit long. Hughes able to run it down. He has Battle ahead of the defense, and he throws it down to get Syracuse back within 1. 16 minutes to go. What a start to Big Monday. Delorier for Duke.
Boy, what a game to go up and down. Neither team walking it up.
Well, it's Delorier's first field goal attempt of the night, which obviously he's now made 19 straight field goals. And the ACC record is 20. Great effort again by O'Connell. Duke's Abdel Nabi made 20 straight field goals back in '88 and '89, so chance for that record. But O'Connell, terrific.
Alex O'Connell with a spectacular pass along the baseline to R.J. Barrett. And then the ball movement back to O'Connell, who was ready to shoot. Alex O'Connell made a big impact on this second half already.
Now, if Jones is healthy, I asked you this question at lunch today, and the tournament's a long way off. But if you had to handicap it right now, Duke clearly the favorite?
No, they're one of a group, I would say, of 4 favorites. And I would start putting Michigan State up there as well. That Michigan State is really starting to play well. Nick Ward is having a spectacular year. Cassius Winston, maybe the best point guard in the country. 2 seconds left on the shot clock here for Syracuse. They got to catch it and get it up right away.
Brissett aware of that, fires a 3 way off, and they call it a shot clock violation.
Looked like Zion Williamson might have gotten a hand on that one, too.
Sean McDonough, Jay Billis down on the court. Allison Williams, delighted to have you with us from Durham, North Carolina. And a foul as Barrett went to pass it.
Duke is in a set they call gaps, where they get into the gaps of the zone.
Hence the name.
And align themselves to that. Yeah, it's very simple. So players back in the day could understand it. But you can overload the zone, you can screen it, and you can also penetrate those gaps.
Ooh.
But I think when Duke is putting the ball on the deck and getting into the gaps of the zone, making 2 play 1, and then play out of that, that's the most debilitating thing for a zone in my judgment. But boy, it's been awfully good to get it to Zion Williamson in the middle too. He's been unstoppable.
Boy, Battle so assertive. Tried to drive on White. Brissett at the offensive end. Had it for a moment. Delorier, a good play for Duke to poke it away.
Jim Boeheim wanted to foul on that. He thought that Brissett had the ball.
White from Australia, junior, co-captain with his roommate Delorier. And a good rebound by Howard, who played just 7 minutes and change in the first half. Brissett, couple of steps, missed the shorty.
Boy, Duke's so good at challenging at the rim. So many long, athletic shot blockers and shot changers.
Zion Williamson starting to become a better three-point shooter. Just 8 for 28 starting the night. But more confident lately. 1 out of 3 tonight. The lead all of a sudden back to 6 for Duke. Hughes, no. Delorier had it poked free by Brissett and rescued by Barrett. Crowd ready to erupt. And they will if this man converts.
Syracuse dared Zion Williams to shoot it, and Williamson knocked down a 3 at the top of the key. That's what they call a dare shot, and he matched that dare. They're basically saying, go ahead, shoot it. And he did, knocked it down. Then on the right side, once he got it, then all of a sudden Frank Howard's trying to take it away. And then you're not going to stop Zion Williamson putting that thing on the deck. Too good.
Zion Williamson punctuating a 7-0 Duke run. And the Blue Devils now have opened up an 8-point lead with 13:38 to go.
Down in Tallahassee, Duke had to overcome the loss of Zion Williamson for the second half. Now for basically all but the first 6 minutes of this game, having to overcome the loss of Trey Jones at the point. And Cam Reddish hadn't played at all in this one.
O'Connell fell down. That left Frank Howard open for three. Just a 26% three-point shooter and his first points of the night. Syracuse had missed its previous 4 shots. They opened the second half hitting 5 out of 6.
Maybe that'll get him going a little bit because he's got to have a better game, and Jack White's got to be ready to shoot. He's passed up some open ones.
Barrett ready to shoot. He knocks it home. He has a 20-point game.
Boy, that pair of R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson is absolutely remarkable on the offensive end.
Howard, does that count? Looked like the ball might go into the basket without any contribution by Chuku. It looks like they're going to count it and a foul.
Yeah, I thought he was in the cylinder when he caught that.
Mike Krzyzewski is claiming that he did. And the officials are going to huddle. Now they wipe off the basket.
Yeah, by saying the foul was before the shot. That was above the cylinder, but that takes all discussion out about it by just saying no, it was beforehand.
And it wasn't going to go in.
Well, it looks like they're going to give him 2 shots though.
And Javin Delorier called for his foul, the 4th. Now he's one away from extinction. Chuku. Jim Boeheim agitated. Of course, the most memorable outburst of his Hall of Fame career was in this building when he got ejected from a Syracuse Duke game. Arms flapping, jacket about to come off. And he didn't get a call to go his way at the end of a tight game.
They later on auctioned that jacket off for a ton of money.
$14,000. Nice rebound by Battle. Thought about the NBA after their run to the Sweet 16 last year. Came back. And that's a goaltend. Bolden.
I remember this play like it was yesterday. C.J. Fair going up. Ooh. You had Rodney Hood taking the charge. And Jim Boeheim, I don't know if you can tell, but he didn't think that was a good call.
I believe the word was baloney. That is baloney. Tony Green, the call and the tee. Barrett. And now Syracuse with numbers on the break. Elijah Hughes swatted by Williamson, and then a battle for the ball and a foul against the Orange. Zion Williamson.
Are you kidding? I mean, Jack White made him change his path just a bit. A little Euro step to get past, and Zion Williamson chased it down and just swatted that thing before it could get up to the top. That's his 3rd block. Blocks it with the left hand and has to watch his head on the landing. What a big-time play by Zion Williamson.
Well, memorable outburst, deserves a second look. That jacket actually looks a lot like the one that he's wearing tonight. That was from 5 years ago. But it's not the same jacket. Jim and Julie Boeheim have raised millions of dollars for charity in Central New York. And at their charity event in 2004, Neil Gold, they were with his wife, Helene. They're no bigger Syracuse basketball fans. They bought that jacket for $14,000. I saw Neil before the game. He said he thought about wearing it tonight.
I don't know what kind of karma that'd bring, but
no.
A little double dribble in the backcourt by Elijah Hughes. And Jim Boeheim wondering what that was all about. He's probably asking him, wait a minute, Barrett dribbled it over his shoulder.
Well, maybe they'll have another jacket to auction off. 14 turnovers for Syracuse. Here's O'Connell for three, no, but Marquise Bolden powers to the bucket, kept it alive. Great effort by Marquise Bolden.
That was a big-time effort by Marquise Bolden. He had a terrific game. He's fourth in the ACC in block shots, but man, he had a terrific game against Clemson. He's really been playing at a much higher level.
Nifty pull-up and bucket by Frank Howard.
He's starting to play, and Syracuse needs him to start to play. He's such a good defender at the top of that zone. I can't think of, but they're good deflection. I can't think of but a handful of guys that would be in his class as a defender at the top of the zone.
Barrett unlucky as that spun off. Williamson contested the rebound, but Chukwu won it. Wow, you said Howard needed to get going, and boy has he. All 9 of his points since the half came in averaging under 7 points per game after scoring 14.5 per game last year.
I'd let Zion touch it in the middle of that zone. Like, Bolden needs to get along the baseline, let Zion operate.
O'Connell. Williamson with a shot clock running down into traffic. O'Connell. Desperation shot. And it goes from the corner. 13 for Alex O'Connell, tying his career high.
Duke has had to adjust 2 games in a row, having to adjust in the second half against Florida State without Zion Williamson in the lineup. And no bigger adjustment could be made than the adjustment they've had to make without Trey Jones in the lineup. And Alex O'Connell has come in, especially in the second half, and has been outstanding. Defensively, he's done a good job on the ball, has been alert on the offensive end, and he's got some bounce. And he knocked down that 3 on the left side of the floor, then out of the right corner. That pass he made to R.J. Barrett along the baseline. Some big plays from Alex O'Connell.
Third time in his career he scored 13 in a game, his career high. Coming up next, out we go to Lawrence, Kansas for number 7, the Jayhawks in Texas. Jayhawks have won the last 9, 13 of 14 against the Horns. This one is also live on the ESPN app. You can watch anywhere.
Now, Sean, there are a number of guys that are going to be right up there for National Player of the Year. You put R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson in that class. I'll tell you, Dedrick Lawson of Kansas will be up there as well. He's played really, really well.
What has gotten into Frank Howard? He rattles home along 2. Midway through the second half now. A 3-point lead for Duke. Playing without Cam Reddish, the 6'8" freshman forward throughout. He was scratched before game time with an illness. And their outstanding guard, Trey Jones, who was a force, particularly on defense, as they raced ahead 12-0, injured his shoulder and has not played since 14.5 remained in the first half. So guys like O'Connell filling the void.
Boy, when Zion Williamson went to the bucket, O'Shea Brissett was out of the play. He got knocked right in the jaw, then got back in there, and Chukwu did a really nice job of going after the ball. You know, he's long and thin, doesn't have a lot of bulk to him, and he's going against a much bigger and stronger Marquise Bolden in there.
And he's 7'2", Chukwu, number 13 for Syracuse, tallest player in program history. Elijah Hughes short off the 3. It would have tied it.
He was wide open off that roll replace action. A good roll by Chukwu off the screen.
Williamson. No. Chukwu. And it knocked away with Bolden on his back and White poking at it as well. We mentioned Williamson, a better three-point shooter of late. The previous 3 games, Jay, he was 5 for 10 from three-point range. Hasn't found the mark tonight. 1 out of 4. Howard again. No, and Williamson up to the ceiling to rip that one down.
Good challenge by Bolden. I think Howard might have been able to get by him. When he gets that switch, that's a switch that he can and should drive.
Jim Boeheim says that leg for Howard now is fully healthy. His subpar play has nothing to do with the injury. Tried to lob it to Battle. Might have been a little too low. Here's Williamson. And Bolden, and he was fouled.
Mike Krzyzewski talking to Mike Eads, asking for the foul on the Williamson drive. He feels like Zion Williamson is officiated a little bit differently because he is so big and strong that he gets hit awfully hard. And yet because he's able to absorb it, maybe doesn't get the calls that another player might.
Well, he shot 12 free throws tonight. Brissett called for the foul. His second.
When you look back on all the great plays of this game, the gutsiest play might have been Dolezaj standing in front of Zion Williamson to take that charge in the first half.
Yeah, we have seen very little of him since. Goldwire back in. Here's Dolezaj. Yeah, that is a decision you have to make quickly when you see Williamson gear up for a power drive toward the bucket.
And then your light flashes before your eyes.
Yeah. 4-point game. We're approaching 8.5 to go. Battle drove on White. Brissett, good hands by Goldwire, and the officials conferring. Mike Eads on the side says Syracuse ball. The Duke partisans don't like it, nor does Coach K.
And that is not a play that can be reviewed until the last 2 minutes of regulation.
Two winningest coaches of all time, great friends. Jim Boeheim, the assistant coach to Mike Krzyzewski. They combined to win 3 Olympic gold medals, went 24-0 in Olympic play. Nearly a sloppy Syracuse turnover.
That Battle wasn't even looking at it. It's really kind of remarkable he's able to go get it.
Got Williamson in the air. A little short. Chuku. Brissett. They're playing catch. Chuku. Rejected. And Williamson rips it away after Delorier got a hand on the shot. Lots of chances, and Barrett in transition. No. Out of bounds to Syracuse. After immediate timeout. 7:48 to go. Another dandy between Duke and the Cutes.
Coach Greenberg's jacket was auctioned off from the time he got kicked out of Cameron.
I'll tell you, that jacket wasn't worth 14 grand. That's a tough game for Florida State to have to play against Pittsburgh after the barn burner they had on Saturday against Duke.
3 for Brissett. That was an excruciating loss for Florida State, losing literally on the last second shot by Cam Reddish, who's under the weather and not playing tonight for Duke. Trey Jones out with a shoulder injury. Duke has not updated his situation.
What a pass
by Barrett to Williamson. They are so unselfish. You know, you have 4 players like this, freshmen coming in, Jay. It would be easy for there to be jealousy, particularly with all the attention that Zion Williamson is getting. But he and R.J. Barrett, we're told, are the best of friends. There is none of that. Even as Coach K said, you know, there's a different draft every week, mock draft. One has Williamson #1. The next week it's Barrett #1. It's Barrett powering up a shot, almost swatted into the bucket by Williamson. But it's obvious when you're around this Duke team, they have great chemistry.
Yeah, and Coach K likes to say that they're secure. You know, they know who they are. They're not worried about the next level. I mean, R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson know they're going 1 and 2 in the draft. It's just a question of which order. But nobody's jealous of one another. And Coach K has really gone to great pains to point that out, that they really like each other on and off the floor. And that's not always the case with every team.
They credited the families from which they have come to Duke. All of them grounded and helping keeping these young men grounded. And the point that he made and that you just repeated about, you know, they know they're going to be pros. They know they're going to be the top 2 picks. And Reddish and Jones likely first rounders as well. So they're not coming here trying to prove anything to the pros. They know they're going to be pros.
Well, they're just playing their game proves it.
O'Connell with Duke still leading by 3. Barrett, no. Battle, strong, fouled. And it's an offensive foul. And Jim Boeheim livid. It looked like Ron Gruber was going to call a blocking foul, and then he kind of haphazardly just pointed in the other direction.
Yeah, R.J. Barrett did a nice job of getting there. I just don't honestly believe that's enough contact to call a charge on, but reasonable minds can differ on that. I would not have called that. I don't think that was a good call.
And it looked like Gruber almost changed his mind after the crowd booed because they thought it was going to be a blocking foul. And then he just very late pointed in the other direction. Here's Battle. He lays it in, blew right by Jack White. That's 28. A season high for Tyus Battle.
Well, he's been spectacular. Great inside out move to get all the way to the rack with that left hand. That was brilliant. Boy, in Syracuse, they have played terrific in this ball game after Trey Jones went out. But no stopping that. Anytime Zion Williamson gets the ball in the middle of the zone, he's just a playmaker in there.
He has 32. Battle. Chuku. Jim Boeheim said we've gotten very little from Chuku at either end of the court. We need him to pick it up if we're going to be a tournament team. He has picked it up tonight.
Need him to block shots, protect the rim, rebound, run the court, and finish plays.
12 rebounds for Chuku. White, no. And now with under 5 to go, Syracuse with a chance for the lead. They haven't led since it was 50-49 in the opening moments of the second half.
And you wonder about fatigue for some of the role players for Duke playing extended minutes. They don't play this many minutes. I'm not sure Jack White has played this many minutes in his career here at Duke.
Brissett with the shot clock down to 5. Brissett, tough shot. Well guarded by Bolden. A lot of dribbling at the end of that shot clock by Brissett.
Yeah, that was not a good offensive possession for Syracuse.
O'Connell. Barrett thought about it, decided to shoot it. White came crashing in from the weak side, and the ball went right by him. Battle drops it back. Howard for the lead. No. And a rebound by Barrett, who starts back 1-on-3 and waits for O'Connell.
Duke has been settling for some jump shots when I think they can continue to get the ball into the paint and attack in the blue of the court. Right now there's not any movement. Everybody's standing on the perimeter. The ball's moving, but players are not.
And White, another miss.
And even when you pass it on the perimeter, just cut through.
And now some slow moving players on each side. Fatigue is evident. Chuku, another rebound. And Syracuse leads 81-80 with 3 minutes to go.
That was a wide open second shot because Zion Williamson went to block the shot. And there was no rotation. That left Chuku wide open on the offensive glass. Syracuse with a 1-point lead with just under 3 minutes to go in regulation. In transition, the inside out move, and Tyus Battle has been spectacular. 2 guys going after the block shot. Offensive glass wide open for Chuku.
News and the ESPN app, guys.
All right, Chris, thank you. Barn burner here. Duke led 12-0, 14-2. Looked like it was going to be a blowout. They're a 17-point favorite entering tonight. Playing all night without Cam Reddish under the weather. Trey Jones injured 6 minutes into the game. Duke has still led virtually throughout, but it's Syracuse right now with the lead. Bolden trying to throw it back down, and he's fouled after Williamson missed from in close. That is the 6th team foul of this half against the Orange. Duke's been called for 3.
All right, Zion Williamson, that ball was tipped. He went up strong here. He got hit by Chuku, but what a great rebound by Marquise Bolden, who has played extended minutes and really solid minutes throughout the course of this game. He's been all over the place. I mean, he can run. He's really good with his feet on ball screen coverages, and he's really starting to come on. You know, Sean, it's almost hard to believe. In the 3 games that Duke played in Canada, Marquise Bolden played 38 minutes, did not score. and he was not in a good place, and yet he has really fought through, and he's a really valuable contributor for this team.
Looked like he got away with an over the back as well. It's a 1-point lead for Duke. Sean McDonough, Jay Billis, Allison Williams, deafening noise again here in Cameron. The #1 team in the country, Duke, in a real battle with a Syracuse team that needs a resume booster. And Frank Howard has emerged in the second half with 14 points.
Also got 6 rebounds. But Duke's only got 3 team fouls, so they can really go after Syracuse on the defensive end without fear of putting the orange on the line on a common foul. And man, Sean, anytime you get the ball to Williamson in there, how tough is he to stop?
He has 34 points. And it's just about impossible to answer your question. Battle for Hughes at a big first half. Hasn't been heard from much since the break. Battle one-on-one on White. He's won that matchup. Bolden comes to help and block the shot.
Marquise Bolden, 4th in the ACC in block shots, and those are not in extended minutes. And he had 7 blocks against Auburn in Maui. He has been terrific in this ball game.
Big miss by Barrett. He's had some tough luck on some balls that have popped out. But he's now 3 out of 13 from 3. Duke for the night just 7 for 35 for 20%. Well, and the foul on Bolden is his 4th. As Jay said, though, they're not near the bonus right now, just the 4th Duke team foul. And you talk about fatigue for some of those players that are playing the extra minutes tonight with no Reddish and no Jones. O'Connell and White have both played their season high in minutes. ESPN and the ACC will bring you the ACC network in August. That's probably a lot more work for you, not that you need it. 15 universities, 1 network. Visit getaccn.com to learn more.
Well, the biggest play of this game was the injury to Trey Jones. It happened with 6 minutes gone in the game, going after a loose ball. He already had 4 steals, went down with Frank Howard going after that, and then the shot at the end of the half by, oh my goodness, that's just stunning to see. Elijah Hughes knocking that thing down. That made Syracuse 7 of 10 from 3 in the first half.
And apparently that was the end of the night for Elijah. He's not scored in the second half. He took a bow, and that's it.
That's the memorable one. But yeah, he had a terrific first half. But the slack has been picked up mostly by Frank Howard in the second half, who's had an excellent second 20 minutes.
All of his points have been in the second half. Meanwhile, Zion Williamson, 34 points. That's his career high in his 16th game. 16th game. He had 30 at Wake Forest on January 8th, last Tuesday.
He only had 16 shots in that game. He was 13 of 16. And one of his misses was a dunk that went like 25 feet in the air after it hit the heel of the rim. Got the switch.
Under a minute and a half to go. Syracuse, the ball down by 1.
Bolden now on Hughes.
Tough shot, and he made it. The step back is good by Tyus Battle.
Boy, and Jack White on the switch was all over him. That was outstanding defense, just superior offense.
No, just picking up where we left off last year and in previous years on Big Monday in the ACC, before that in the Big East. Remarkable how many of these Mondays turn out to be classics, and this is one. 45 seconds to go after the Duke turnover. Syracuse the ball in a 1-point lead.
Well, you wonder if there's going to be no ball screen coming up. Just Battle by himself.
Battle's floater would not go. About 2 seconds difference between the shot clock and game clock.
And Mike Krzyzewski not going to call a timeout unless there's something he doesn't like. Got to think that there it goes.
Williamson got it back after it was poked away, and a foul called.
Chukwu got him with the body, it looked like, and took a swipe at it up top. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was not much there. Not much there. But that puts, and this has been an issue. You know, people talk about, well, in a close game, will Duke's free throw shooting be an issue?
Well, they're the worst free throw shooting team in the ACC starting tonight. 67%. Williamson 10 out of 13 from the line. Very fortunate to be there.
And remember, Duke's got 2 fouls to give. So that's going to be a factor.
He misses the second. Syracuse can take the last shot.
And they're going to foul him right now.
Yeah, Coach K signaling to Jack White. And he fouls. With 10.6 to go.
Now,
they can do that once more.
If Syracuse can get the ball into the front court on the pass, and they feel like they're going to get fouled, you can get into a shooting motion. But right now, I think the referees are talking about the foul to give, just to understand.
Been a remarkable night for Battle. Undoubtedly in this timeout, Jim Boeheim will try to find a way to get the ball in his hands. 30 points a season high. His career high is 37.
Well, Tyus Battle had been struggling coming into this one, shooting under 30% from 3. He was 4 of 21 from 3 in his last 6 games coming into this, but he has been absolutely spectacular throughout this game, making so many challenge shots. The step back with Jack White all over him, falling out of bounds after he hit it. And you're not going to see a better performance from Tyus Battle. But right now, the issue is getting the ball in bounds and getting it into a position, because Duke is going to foul. They're looking to foul to try to, you know, keep Syracuse from getting something where they can get something clean. But if you can throw the ball into the front court, well, that's where you want to get it.
Brissett will play it in. Battle picked up in the backcourt. Goldwire tightly on him, and there's the foul. Now they cannot do that again. The next one puts them over the limit.
And now Syracuse can inbound it from a position where they can run a legit side out of bounds play. And you know that Jim Boeheim called that play beforehand. And you want to watch all cutters going toward the basket. And the ball side corner is usually something that could be open here. You just throw it over the shoulder.
Battle, 3 seconds. Battle for the lead. No, the rebound O'Connell, and they're heading for overtime. They got a good look at it. And Battle has been tremendous. Consoled by Frank Howard.
What a game. Boy, just what Syracuse would want. The ball in the hands of their leading scorer. Going one-on-one with Jack White on him. Got a good look at it. Just a little bit to the right and clanged off the back of the rim, but a good look. But well defended. Like Jack White again had a hand up on it.
Let's send you back to Chris Cotter quickly in the studio.
Sean, Jay, you guys have overtime there. Meanwhile, they're underway at Fall Allen Fieldhouse, Texas and Kansas. You can check out that game on ESPN News and on the ESPN app. As soon as you guys wrap things up, we'll move it over here to ESPN. Coach, Jay,
they got
what
the
do you
ball to Battle in the middle of the floor right there. You wanted to go downhill and make a play instead of settling. He settled on that situation.
I agree. I thought he should have drive. They got the matchup he wanted. It's obvious that he can get around Jack White whenever he wanted. That's where you rack it. You put the refs in a position to make a call.
All right, Sean, Jay, we'll send it back to y'all. Overtime at Cameron.
And you wonder, Jay, about fatigue. You know, Battle's driven strong to the bucket several times now. He played the full 40 minutes.
Yeah, most of the time, though, he's been driving. It's been more in transition situations. And I hear both Jay, Will, and Seth. I'm not saying they're wrong, but he's more comfortable as a jump shooter and a pull-up jump shooter. Yeah, he got the shot he wanted. The only difference is, when you put the ball on the deck, you have an opportunity to draw a foul. And that's why, in my judgment, you want to do that, for the opportunity to draw a foul and complete a play.
So on to overtime we go. Battle and Hughes both 40 minutes for Syracuse. R.J. Barrett played 40 for Duke. Jack White 37, Williamson 39. So there's a lot of fatigue on both sides. They both played on Saturday as well. So the quick turnaround. Syracuse wins the tip. No fatigue there as Elijah Hughes went swooping into the bucket. His first points since he threw one in from about 75 to 80 feet to end the first half.
Well, Syracuse more used to playing big minutes than some of the players. You know, Barrett and Zion Williamson play a lot of minutes. I mean, this has been a really tough game. They played more minutes than usual, but they both average over 30 minutes a game. The difference has been for guys like Jack White, Alex O'Connell, Marquise Bolden. They don't play minutes like this every game.
Then for those who tuned in late, Cam Reddish has not played at all. Trey Jones played 5.5 minutes, was outstanding, but injured his shoulder and has not returned. So Duke has played the entire game without one of its starters and most of it without another.
See, that's where Frank Howard should have gone, tried to go by Marquise Bolden.
O'Connell, a new career high, 16 points. On 4 out of 8 from 3. They have only 8 threes as a team. He has half of them.
O'Connell and Cam Reddish are the two best shooters on this team. I put Jack White up there as well.
Battle. Wow. Straddling the three-point line.
That guy can hit challenge shots. That one not as challenged as the one he hit over Jack White on the left side of the floor, but doesn't look like he's lost any lift on that jumper.
White has played a career high in minutes tonight, has not scored. Barrett can't get that three to go. Strength battle, and Williamson just hauled it away from Chuku, but then he stepped out of bounds.
Boy, that looked like it was a tie-up to me. And the official didn't call it. It wound up benefiting the Orange there, but looked like both players had control of it for a tie-up. A quick one.
Jim Boeheim watching and directing from the sideline. He's 4-6 all time against #1 teams in the country. Won 3 of the last 5, including a win over then #1 Louisville in 2013. That was the last.
Well, when Syracuse gets a switch and they get Bolden switched off on the ball, I'm a little surprised they're not driving that matchup. That's 2 in a row. Howard then Battle. It's settled for a jump shot.
Good hands by Howard. Jim Boeheim told his team get on the floor, and Brissett does to tie it up with Williamson. Meanwhile, Mike Krzyzewski with Duke #1 in the poll just out today. That's 122 weeks for Mike Krzyzewski as the head coach of the #1 team in the country, most all time. He had been tied with the great John Wooden prior to today. And with the new poll out, 122 for Coach K as the head coach of the #1 team. And overall for Duke, 140 atop the poll. Also #1 all time. White has taken 8 shots, all of them threes, and still hasn't made one. 0 for 9 now. And we're nearly midway through the overtime, and anxiousness palpable in the sellout crowd. Brissett, little stop and go. Elijah Hughes lost it for a moment. Still 10 to shoot. Hughes lost it on the way up. Shot clock at 5. His heave did not go, and Bolden has another rebound.
Boy, impressive by R.J. Barrett to stay in front and get a piece of that shot.
Double-double for Bolden. 12 and now 10 rebounds. Steal by Howard. And a free path to the bucket.
Well, that's been a couple of passes. One late in regulation by Alex O'Connell, and that one. He threw the ball away trying to get it to Zion Williamson late in regulation. Gave Syracuse a chance for the last shot.
And now their lead is 3, which matches the largest Syracuse lead of the night. Can White finally hit one? No. Williamson went flying, but couldn't tip it in.
Well, that's another possession where Elijah Hughes did not turn around, try to block anybody out. It almost cost him. Well, this has been a battle. I mean, win or lose, you have to be impressed with the way Duke's fought through losing 2 of their better players.
Basket interference, the call by Jeffrey Anderson, but I think Mike Eads is saying
he's got a foul.
He has a foul underneath.
Yeah, he got undercut. I thought that's what the call was. I saw the signal up top, but he got undercut here by Jack White. I think they're going to call that a foul on White. He did kind of give him a little hip check. It didn't look like. Yeah, they got to call that. That's right. That's a good call.
And after conferring, that is going to be the call from the officials. And that's 4 fouls on Jack White. Well, it's a 1-and-1. And Chuku, as usual, hasn't scored much, but he has 16 rebounds. 6 points, 2 out of 5 from the line. This a 1-and-1.
With a 65% free throw shooter coming into this. Also shoots 65% from the floor, but most of his shots are a lot closer in than this free throw. Well, that was a big free throw. Makes it a 2-possession game. Wow.
I think many were wondering if Syracuse was underachieving a little bit based on what they did last year, all that talent coming back. Jim Boeheim says we have good players. We haven't played very well. There's still a chance, and they've played well tonight. Barrett makes the 3. A little frustrated. He's had a tough night from beyond the arc. And, of course, Syracuse has benefited greatly. No Reddish and no Jones for most of the night. Trying to take advantage of the undermanned Duke team.
Little exchange up top. Elijah Hughes a little bit late getting out from the baseline side. And R.J. Barrett, yeah, he's just a scorer. And he was totally unafraid. I mean, it doesn't matter what he is shooting coming into that shot. That's all in his rearview mirror and totally forgotten.
Sports Center tonight after Texas and Kansas. Kenny and Zubin. Tim Legler will be on the show. He'll break down R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson's NBA future.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll break it down for you. It's good.
The crazy numbers behind James Harden, 16-game, 30-plus point streak. And at midnight Eastern, all right. Matthew McConaughey joins SVP. Sports Center on ESPN and the ESPN app. Now, obviously, it's crunch time of this game. Don't want to vector too far away. Barrett and Williamson, 1 or 2. They go back and forth. Most people think that will be, they'll be 1 and 2. It would be very hard if it's even close for me. If you run an NBA team with everything that Zion Williamson brings.
Yeah.
With the marketing and the appeal.
Yes.
I mean, to me, Barrett's going to have to be clearly better in the NBA minds if he's going to be picked ahead of Zion Williamson.
Yeah, that's fair. But I'll tell you, R.J. Barrett can play, man. He's a James Harden type player. And I think that shot, like, he can make threes. He's not a consistent three-point shooter yet. But, you know, he's got a stroke that I think is going to be repeating and really will improve over time. But I'll tell you what, they got a long way to go in this one. I mean, that was a huge shot that R.J. Barrett just hit off that little exchange up top on the ball reversal.
23 and 15 for Barrett, 9 assists, almost a triple-double.
And how about the back-to-back games he's had? 32 points against Florida State without Zion Williamson in there the second half, without Trey Jones in this one, without Cam Reddish at all. You know, to come up with 1 assist shy of a triple-double. Man, that dude, he can play.
1:11 to go. Both teams in the 1-and-1. 1 timeout for each. R.J. Barrett guarding Tyus Battle.
I think you bring a ball screen up and get the switch and then attack the. So here it is.
Chuku steps out. Now it's Bolden for a moment on Battle. Still 10 to shoot. Howard, brilliant since halftime. Drives on Alex O'Connell, and it's Chuku! The dunk for the Cuse. He has 10.
Boy, Battle just threw that up. He saw Chuku there and just threw it up in front of the rim. Chuku ready for it. Marquise Bolden was not.
Duke down by 4 and time running out under 30 seconds.
Got to get something going to the rim.
O'Connell with Battle near him. Barrett watches a defender fly by. Zion short for 3. Barrett, another rebound. O'Connell, but they're down to 13 seconds in the game.
Boy, wasting a lot of time.
Barrett spins out. He's had several of those. Chuku, the night of his Syracuse career, with the rebound. His 17th.
Boy, that's where the zone's so difficult, especially for a young team that is fatigued in overtime. Boy, Syracuse, how about this performance? Remarkable.
Jim Boeheim said to us before the game, we need a lot more from Howard. We need a lot more from Chuku. And boy, have they delivered tonight. Chuku's 17 rebounds, a career high.
Boy, the difference in this game. Trey Jones in the game, Trey Jones out of the game. And as soon as Jones was out, the first thing we said is Syracuse has to take advantage of it. And to the Orange's credit, they did take advantage of it.
The miss. Barrett, the time running out. R.J. Barrett, a deep three. And Chuku, fittingly, the ball in his hands as the game ends. Jim Boeheim, another win over the #1 ranked team in the country. His first as an unranked Syracuse team since the Big East tournament of 2006. You and I were there. Jerry McNamara now on the coaching staff of the Heroes. They knocked off #1 Connecticut to get off the bubble and into the NCAA tournament. And we talk about Syracuse. It's almost comical now every year, the bubble talk. Here's one come resume review time that is huge.
Yeah, one against the #1 team, a win on the road, whether it's the Ken Palm or the net or the old RPI, that is going to be a very valuable win for the Orange. And they had to battle for it.
Yeah, here's Allison with the coach.
Actually here with Tyus Battle. Tyus, you have done what very few have been able to accomplish, beating #1 ranked Duke and Cameron. What was required to get this win?
I mean, just laser focus. I mean, everyone was locked in practice yesterday. It's tough coming off a loss to come in here, but that's why we're in ACC, and it's a great opportunity for us.
You came off that loss against Georgia Tech, the worst shooting performance of the season. How were you guys able to be so much better offensively?
I mean, we have confidence in ourselves. It doesn't matter how many shots we miss. We're going to keep on taking them, and we work too hard to just not take the shots when you're open. So we made some big ones tonight.
I see the smile. What's it feel like to leave here with a win?
It feels great. It feels real good, and hopefully we can get us going.
Tyus, thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a frustrating year. Maybe that will get them going. 5 players in double figures for Syracuse, led by Battles 32. Williamson 35 and 10 for Duke. Final score in overtime, Syracuse 95, Duke 91. For Allison Williams, Jay Billis, Sean McDonough. Good night from Durham. Now to Texas and Kansas. Here's Bob Wischusen.